Whenever you are. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Council and Committee for the Town of Petawawa to order for January 12th, 2026. Welcome to members of Council, staff, and our special guests here this evening. We'll begin this meeting this evening with the reading of the land acknowledgement, and this evening it's Councillor Carmen.
Thank you, Mayor Service. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of the Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Omani-Wenini Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Omani-Wenini people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for the many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Calls to action number 81. We call upon the federal government, in collaboration with survivors and their organizers and other parties to the settlement agreement, to commission and install a publicly accessible, highly visible residential schools national monument in the city of Ottawa to honor survivors and all the children who were lost to their families and communities. Recent progress. On June 20th, 2023, the survivor-led steering committee announced that the residential schools national monument will be installed on Parliament Hill in Ottawa. The site selected is on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, and was blessed by elders during a special ceremony held on the evening prior to the announcement. The site is on the west side of the Parliament Hill and is highly visible in the heart of downtown Ottawa.
Thank you, Councillor Carmen. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest in any of this evening's matters? Okay, we're going to go to our special guest now. It's always an honor to have the 4 CDSG Commander, Sean Turnholm, is here this evening to bring us a report, and welcome also to the 4 CDSG Formation Sergeant Major, Chief Warrant Officer Todd Buchanan as well. He's riding shotgun tonight. So it's always great to have you here, and we're looking forward to hearing what has been going on in the garrison in 2025.
Thank you, Mayor Service, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. Really thanks for the invitation for the both of us to join you here this evening. I just had the opportunity to interact and just give an overview of where the garrison has been over the last 12 months. So Garrison Petawawa, as you know, together with the town and then your help has worked effectively over the years to achieve meaningful joint initiatives that have strengthened and enriched the community. These shared successes, both large and small, stand as a testament to what we can all achieve together and continue to achieve through collaboration, trust, and commitment. It comes as no surprise, I'm sure, that the garrison is busy, remains busy, and will continue to be busy as we move forward in the future. And the demands placed on our team to train, sustain, and deploy soldiers, sailors, and air personnel, often at short notice, can be challenging. That strain is equally felt by the families, and we recognize that when our members and their loved ones need support, they turn to the town for their assistance and support and services. And they are welcomed with open arms by the town, and for that we are eternally grateful. We also know that that by ensuring that the right services are available and the right products accessible to families, that the town provides that soft shoulder, that soft landing place for service members and their families in times of need, but also in their day-to-day lives when services are needed most. These relationships, they matter, and we should be proud of our shared history, our embracing environment, and the deep ties that bind us, but we can't rest on that past and present, and we need to move forward to achieve more. We need to continue to nurture bonds and build upon our mutual interests. Being neighbors, it reinforces the importance of our necessary growth together every day and in every interaction. Whether it's institutions, civic and business leaders, volunteers, or simply just good citizens in the community, all committed to prosperity of this area. The garrison remains fully engaged in supporting not only the Canadian Army and the Canadian Armed Forces as a whole, but our members are also deployed around the world and frequently called upon by the government to respond to emergencies at home and abroad. And often, as you know, it takes us into the local area and into this community in particular, as we can only achieve certain training objectives and training activities by coming off the base and interacting with the local community in order to create realistic scenarios that we just can't replicate anywhere else. And that continued support from yourselves, the council, for the broader community is extremely appreciated. And it helps us continue vital work in enabling our operational excellence. We recognize right now that Canada is at a pivotal moment. The world is becoming more dangerous. You just watch the news and you can see the changes that are happening on a day-to-day basis. It's becoming more divided and elevating the importance and the necessity for discussions around national defense and security. It is clear that the Army of today must evolve to meet the challenges of tomorrow, and it will, which is why the Canadian Army is going through a significant modernization process. We're making deliberate efforts to attract, recruit, train, and retain skilled personnel to meet the future demands. Recent economic increases and enhanced compensation benefits are part of this effort. And these investments are just as critical as those that are needed to maintain our infrastructure and operational relevance. Garrison Petawawa is taking proactive steps to strengthen its security posture in response to this increasingly volatile global security environment. And these measures are essential to protecting our personnel, their families, infrastructure, and the surrounding community. Throughout 2026 and 2027, the base will begin implementing improvements, including updated access control, enhanced physical protective features such as fencing and lighting, and advanced intrusion monitoring systems to ensure a safer and more secure environment for the garrison and its personnel. And while security enhancements are necessary, Garrison Petawawa remains committed to remaining accessible to the services that it provides right now in the local community and providing reasonable access for all personnel and the public to continue to enjoy the recreational services and activities on the garrison itself, to include fitness facilities, museum, and other amenities. The well-being of our soldiers and their families remain our top priority. And to support them, there are several major and minor capital projects that are currently underway in Garrison Petawawa. Firstly, construction continues, as you know, on the new Petawawa Military Family Resource Center, with substantial completion expected in the spring of 2026. And having just recently actually taken a tour of the facility, it is going to be a remarkable complex when it's finally open, and a significant improvement to what we have now. Secondly, road and utility upgrades are continuing to progress in the South Town site, the residential housing unit near Wolf Avenue. Work on Highway 17, the tertiary access point, was completed in December 2025, and it is expected to be opened for use later in the spring. We're progressing with initial designs for barracks and renovations that are underway, with construction scheduled to begin in 2026. And then it was announced informally that there will be new residential housing units to be built to support members close to Petawawa. And we continue to try and glean better fidelity on what that actually means. But we have heard the numbers are definitely in the 3 digits, if not higher. As these generational investments continue, you can be assured that every dollar is being used responsibly to maintain readiness, support our members, and ensure what we can in order to continue to defend Canada and its interests. This past year, 2025, was exceptionally busy, and I know you're going to hear me say the garrison was busy, but that seems to be the common theme for Petawawa, being the most active and most combined military garrison in Canada. It's going to continue to be such. Some of this past year's most notable highlights include, in August of this past year, we hosted our Chief of Defense Staff, General Jenny Carignan, and the Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer, Bob McCann, for a formal recognition ceremony that highlighted the exceptional professionalism and bravery demonstrated by our garrison personnel, particularly our fire response personnel, in response to the 2023 Chinook crash and that tragedy. We supported multiple filming requests from Ottawa to contribute to national recruitment and retention issues, which showcase the personnel and important work being carried out at the garrison on a daily basis. We celebrated our annual Garrison Family Day, which was a vibrant and interactive event that brought together families and community members and offered a chance for personnel to demonstrate equipment, share their experiences, and strengthen community ties, all while supporting ongoing recruiting initiatives. And then what was remarkable is it wasn't just Garrison personnel, but there were lots of people from the community that came up and were able to participate and visit what we had established for that day. We welcomed a film crew from the show known as The Mightiest, who came and captured footage of Chinook helicopter activities at 450 Tactical Helicopter Squadron for a television episode, which highlighted the impressive capabilities that are found here at Petawawa. And throughout the year, our members continue to proudly support community activities across the region, specifically in this community, such as activities, Canada Day, Remembrance Day, and then activities where we honor Canada's fallen soldiers with Canadian Armed Forces representation. All of that's layered underneath or on top of whatever you push to consider, but it was combined with a high operational tempo that we went through in the last year, where we saw one rotation come back in December and another one leave at the same time. And in closing, the team at Garrison Petawawa consistently demonstrates strong commitment to this community, whether raising funds for local initiatives or volunteering. But the Garrison continues to be here for the citizens of Petawawa and the community at large. It's where we live, it's where we belong, it's where everyone enjoys their time. We want to continue to work together, supporting one another and strengthening the bonds that we have that allow us to call this place home in such a large and welcoming community. And I'd really take one last opportunity to thank you for having us here and inviting us to come and have the opportunity to speak with council this evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Colonel Trenholm, for coming here this evening and giving us that update. And I'd like to begin by thanking you, Colonel Trenholm, and Chief Warrant Officer Buchanan, your entire command team, and all of the troops on Garrison Petawawa for everything you do, not just for the town of Petawawa, but for the country of Canada. As you've said, we've just received a rotation back from Latvia and a new one is gone. So our troops that train here in Petawawa are going all over the world to help support our country in various missions, not just in Latvia, but everywhere. So we are extremely grateful for everything that the military does for us. And with that said, the town of Petawawa takes very seriously being the host for the garrison. We take great pride in it. And everything we do is to ensure that not only our residents of Petawawa, but all of the military members as well, have a good community to come and live in. Like you said, a safe landing space where everybody feels comfortable and confident. So it's great to have you here and great to hear about all the things that are going on in Garrison. And as you said, we continue to build a strong relationship together, the town and the Garrison. We share a lot of services, we share a lot of activities, many of which you pointed out there. Another one that I'll highlight is the first ever Lee Warden Parade that is usually held in Garrison. Well, we came together and we hosted it for the first time in the town of Petawawa, which was a great event, not only for town and the Garrison, but for all the kids that showed up to witness that event as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to a great future. Obviously, there's lots going on there, and it will always be busy, and we'll always be here to support you and the troops and everything that's going on. So thanks again. And I hope you don't mind, but I'll open it up to councilors, members of council, if they have any questions. Councilor Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for coming here this evening. I always enjoy when we get a briefing from the people up on the base. And it's so nice to see their relationships so strong and so trusted. And please keep the dialogues open and keep us aware of what's required to meet the challenges and our advancements in as we move forward here, because there's so much demand on the military today, and I'm so proud of all the work that's being done on the base. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, well, thanks again for coming, and thanks again for all you do. I know there's many various ways that you support us behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about, whether it's attending meetings with us or writing letters of support, or doing what you can to help the town of Petawawa be a better place to live. So thanks again, and good luck with 2026 and all of the activities you have going on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As I said earlier, you're most welcome to stay. I told the chief foreign officer that we have a bit of chicken debate going on today.
Next time.
Thanks again. See you later.
I was ready to leave.
Okay, next up, we have the Planning and Development Monthly Activity Report for December. Melanie,
Good evening and Happy New Year to all members of council. Looking forward to another busy and exciting year ahead. Our Planning and Development Monthly Report is before you. A couple things I'll mention is on December 5th, before Christmas, we had our second and final meeting of our Backyard Chickens Ad Hoc Committee. We plan to bring the bylaws of the committee created as a whole to council at the next committee meeting in 2 weeks on the 26th. Another thing I'll mention is that in December we conducted interviews for our building inspector vacancy, and we have an accepted employment offer as of this morning. So we'll have a building inspector starting on February 2nd. December 20th, just prior to Christmas, DND issued a new expression of interest for a warehouse built in Petawawa. It was pretty much identical to the expression of interest issued last March, the difference being that the geographic location was narrowed down to our industrial park. So since then, we've been answering inquiries and having meetings with a few of the interested proponents that plan to submit to DND for that EOI. One other thing I'll mention is that we're busy in December working on our development applications approval process fees review. So we haven't looked at our planning fees since 2018. The fee bylaws from 2019. There's been a lot of changes since then, plus time passing. Back when the last fees review was done, the County of Renters still prepared a lot of town planning documents. So we're in the midst of that study, so you'll be seeing more about that as 2026 progresses. We also added to our monthly report an Appendix C this month with just kind of a year-end summary of what we got done, what we accomplished in 2025. Looking at Appendix A, our active applications, the information is there. You'll notice there's a few new applications that came in December, 7 severance applications, plus the zoning amendment file, so we're working through those. The McRae excavating the new quarry that's proposed for Petawawa. Last year was a lot of reviewing technical reports, getting those reports reviewed by peer review experts. We're just waiting for the last peer review report to come in to share those with McRae. So this year we'll be scheduling the first of the public meetings for the 20 applications, probably late winter, spring. So move those files along. In Appendix B, you'll see our monthly building report file. This is the last one for 2025. So it's got annual numbers. So you can see for 2025, we issued 337 permits with a building permit value of just under 39 million and building permit fees collected just over 900,000. Comparison to the last, to 2023 and 2024, we generally issue around 300 permits with a building permit fee value of around $1 million and construction value between 40 and 45 million. So this last year in 2025, we issued a few more permits. The permit fees and the values are a little less, but fairly consistent. And also you'll see on the chart that we also get asked for zoning compliance letters and septic formal requests. And you can see there was, between those two things, another 80 of those letters issued last year by the building department. And then finally in Appendix C, you'll see that last year we received 24 different planning applications. That number is a little less than the year before, which was 31. However, it did give us some breathing room to make some headway on our policy review. So we got the fence bylaw completed, the additional residential units completed, property standards, clean yards, almost got the backyard chickens, new bylaw reviewed. So the number of applications was a little less, but like I said, to give us time to get some of that policy work done, which we're continuing to do. Other notable things for 2025, we had our development summit in March, which was very successful. And we've tried different ways of tracking the number of inquiries we get by email, in person, or telephone. We always kind of fall off the rigor of tracking telephone calls and in-person visits, but we were able to calculate that we answered over 90 inquiries by email alone last year. So every week there's always, one or two people wondering what can I do with my property or what's so that keeps us very busy as well. And then of course ongoing discussions with various developers and people interested in opportunities in Petawawa. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. So another banner year for the town of Petawawa in terms of zoning. I noticed your little note here that said the main difference was the 230-unit apartment buildings. That we had those in 2024, but nothing similar in 2025. So really, we're continuing on an unusual trend here in terms of almost $1 million in fees and $40 million worth of building in the town. So it's good to see that we're maintaining our growth pattern. Okay, I'll open it up to council for questions on the report. Deputy Mayor Simon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a question, just a comment. In the building department, I know that it's about 10% more permits that you're actually processing. So that's a significant climb to our workload, and there's a lot involved in that. So I'm really glad for the team that building inspector is going to be starting in February. I'm sure they're looking forward to it as well. So please express my thanks. Like I said, that's a big jump, and there's a lot of work that goes on. Thank you.
Councilor Griswold.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I just want to say thank you, Melanie, for the chicken bylaw. That we spent a lot of time on that over in the past year, but now we've had public support with it and council.
Councilor Griswold.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Thank you very much for all the amazing work. Not to push you no more work, but I'm just wondering, the new short-term rental bylaw, I know that you've written that there's more internal review to be done before it's ready for council. I just wanted to know when that might be coming back. Or if there's, any help you need with that review.
So we've started looking into it. There's just some of these other bylaws that are a little higher priority. So I would like to bring the updated site plan control and parkland dedication bylaw next, because that has some implications for development proposals we're anticipating this year. But at least it's on the list, and we've started looking into it.
Okay.
Further questions or comments? Yeah, I like all those comments about all the good work you've done with the policy and the bylaws. It's great to see all those updated as we continue our modernization. So good work to you and all your department. If there are no other questions, I need a motion. Moved by Councilor Root, seconded by Councilor Driscoll, that the Planning and Development Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you, Melanie. Next, we have the Public Works Monthly Activity Report for December. Chris, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Mayor Service and members of council. On behalf of the Public Works Department and also the Civic Properties Department, looking forward to another great year of good collaboration and communication here at council and finding solutions to best serve the community. So, 2026 is going to be a fantastic year. I'm sure of that. So as far as the monthly report, have some updates. Under civic properties, the town hall office renovation, we completed a review on January 9th. This project has been challenging in ways and has certainly gone on longer than anticipated. But we did have some good news out of that January 9th meeting. We are getting very close to completion. There are a few outstanding items to clean up, but they're supposed to be cleaned up by the end of this week. And as well, all documentation required for the occupancy is to be forwarded to our chief building official by the end of this week. So we are really hoping to have this project wrapped up as soon as possible. I wanted to acknowledge our CEO for his support on this and the good communication we had on this project and staying on the right track to getting it completed. As far as the Civic Center parking lot, I could probably have put this project in the completed file, but there is still the outstanding item of the street lighting poles for the rear parking lot. So what we did in December was the contractor JWK arranged to install 2 temporary street light poles and have them activated to provide a sufficient amount of lighting to the back parking lot until such time as the new street poles come in, and I believe there's 4 in total, and have those all installed. So we at least have a stopgap in place to bridge the gap until those new poles come in, and they are scheduled to be at the end of January. Under water and sewer projects, the water tower rehabilitation project is complete. The tower was back in service on December 22nd, and which returned the town's distribution system to its normal operations. And there are a few minor items. Most of them are tied to weather and painting. So at the end of the season, we were in late fall, things got cold. There were a few items left over. They have no impact on requiring additional budget. They're still within the contract, but the contract will come back in the spring when the weather conditions are better and tidy up a few loose ends on that project. But all in all, it went really well, and that water tower should function and serve the residents of the town now for at least 20 years before it needs to be looked at again. Under disinfection byproduct reduction study, the study is ongoing. We had a progress meeting on December 15th, and we have a workshop coming up on January 13th to review the proposed solutions and select best alternative to implement. Obviously, financial considerations will be given to any of the solutions that are provided to us, and we'll work together with our engineered services with Aqua to come up with a plan to address those THMs and the disinfection byproduct issue that we have. As far as the draft report, it's scheduled for the end of January, and then a final report is tentatively scheduled for late February, early March, with a report to council to follow. One other additional study that I should update, was not in the report, is our infrastructure, our 10-year capital infrastructure plan. I have been speaking with Steve Webster, and we are looking at presenting to council last week of January or first week of February. The report is essentially complete. We're just reviewing the draft, and then JD2G is putting the final checks and everything on the report, and it'll be presented to council, which works out really good because we're just coming to we really need the report completed for budget deliberations, so the time couldn't be better. Under road construction and road infrastructure projects, the Norman Street project has been tendered. The tender is closed, and the staff report is ready. It was my intention to bring it before council tonight. However, our legal has advised us to wait until the land transfer is complete before awarding the contract. So there's one more hurdle to cross with property encroachment issue that seems to be dragging on for an eternity. But we're almost there, and the staff report will be before you as soon as possible. Under PXO installations, ironically, I could have bet that the Herman Street Elementary School PXO would have been completed before the Doran Road PXO. However, the Doran Road PXO is complete and up and running, and we are still waiting on the poles for the one at the elementary school. So they're also supposed to be coming in at the end of January. it's the same contractor, so I'm not sure if it's tied to tariff issues or aluminum, for the poles. But we're waiting on the street lighting poles for one contract and the PSO poles for this contract, and it's the same contractor, so I can't really fault their efforts. But the good news is that the PSO on Doran at Herman is up and running, and looks really good. As far as completed projects, you have a list of them there before you. Under 2026 planning, our trade show has really come along good. I provided a couple of update diagrams there in the report. So we have completed 2 reports to council, one at the city of Pembroke and one at county council. I was supposed to attend Edmundston Bromley in December, but I unfortunately got that flu that's going around and I could not attend that council meeting. So we rescheduled that one to January 22nd. And I'm also working on setting up a date with Kilwood, Haggerty and Richards, and more to come on that. But we've opened up some overflow booths. We're right around 90%, but again, we've opened up some additional outdoor booths. So we're in good shape to have a really great show. So great news there. Okay, so under operations, big highlight there is winter maintenance. December was a good old fashioned winter for our public works department. And kudos to Teddy and Peter and Rob and all the guys out of public works who have just been doing a phenomenal job of plowing, maintaining our roads and sidewalks, as well as fitting in some snow removal in there. We don't have a big crew, so I'm always very proud and impressed by what's accomplished by that group. And we continue to offer a phenomenal level of service to the ratepayers. So should be noted for sure. And I think I get very few complaints, so we must be doing something right. So we just got to continue it, which is wonderful. And then under training for civic properties, I just wanted to make a mention of Joe Brazo leading his recertification for a certified ice technician, which is great. We get strong staff and we continue to train and invest in them so that they can continue to serve our ratepayers with the best abilities possible. I also wanted to acknowledge under the Norman Bakey Hall accessibility ramp, thanks to Kate Bennett, who provided me with a grant opportunity through the PAC committee, which was great. I didn't know about it, but we are pursuing an RBC barrier buster grant through the Rick Hansen Foundation, which could provide up to $40,000 towards the construction of this ramp. Now, council may remember in previous budgets, we started with a budget of $300,000 for the reconstruction of the ramp, which was not at all where I wanted to be as far as budget. And we now actually have a budget to reconstruct the ramp at $75,000. And that will come before council as part of 2026 deliberations. But if we're successful in landing this grant, that would really make it a worthwhile venture and not a huge cost outlay. So more to come on that. Under waste management, Trevor and Amanda have been doing a fantastic job of managing this, the changes to the curbside collection. They've been taking care of fielding phone calls, concerns from ratepayers, both residential and commercial. They've been providing notices. They've also been communicating with our municipal partners. So they've been doing a great job, and I haven't really been too involved, which is wonderful. And Trevor will be back next week to provide a fulsome update on that. Under water and sanitary, nothing really too major in there. Just the work orders. I was really happy to comment on that because I know we had talked about completion rates for work orders earlier in the year, and Brad Sweet, our manager at the plants, assured me that the completion rates would come around near the end of the year, which they have. So kudos to the staff at Offload who continue to do just a phenomenal job. Under sewage, nothing stands out of any concern. And that is my monthly report for December, and happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Chris, and thanks to you and all your crew out there. You're right. Hear a lot of complaints about a lot of things, but the cleaning of the sidewalks and the roads is not one of them. I can't remember a time in the last 3 years that I've heard somebody complain. The roads are always cleaned and the sand and the salt is put on, and it's always early. But there's nobody waiting, till afternoon or evening to see their road done. So yeah, tell the crew, big thanks from all of them. Well, they're doing a great job. Okay, I'll open it up to questions from council. Councilor Kernan.
Thank you for your service, and thanks, Chris, just a comment about an exceptional 2025. Really good work by Public Works and the entire crew out there, and yes, indeed, the snow does get cleared quite nicely. Very busy.
Further questions or comments? Councilor Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple questions here for you, Chris. Yeah, I noticed your holiday lights set up. When I was there on Sunday at 1 o'clock, the lights were still on during the day. Are they got a timer, or are they just, because I've noticed them on during the day a couple times, and I don't know if staff turns them on or off, or if they're on a timer.
Through the chair to Councilor Driscoll, I'm not sure, but I will look into that and get clarification on it. Okay.
Perfect, thank you. And then one more, can you just explain the design and engineering for windows at Norman Yankee? We have to get windows replacement, like they have to be done by an engineered plan for that, or how does that work?
No, I think where we, the requirement there is we have to widen an existing window to meet code for a daycare. And the reason we had to seek engineer input was there's a load-bearing I-beam support in the existing window, and we need to understand how we widen the window to make sure that whatever we do is still structurally compliant.
Okay, perfect, that was it. Thanks.
Further questions or comments? I can just add to that, I guess, in order for that facility, right now it's a nursery school and only operates 4 hours each day. And in order for it to become a full-time daycare, the amount of window space has to equal 10% of the floor space for that facility to be legal for a daycare. So that's what we're kind of looking into. And I guess I can add that that particular facility applied for seawall spaces and was successful in getting them, which opened up a whole bunch of funding for that facility that wasn't available to them before. So it's a really good news story that the province is now providing a great deal of funding to them. And a lot of that funding will then be channeled back into the facility to bring it up to code. Yeah, so it's a good news story. Any further questions or comments? I do have one question for you. Now that we have the PXO up on Dorn, is our crossing guard still there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, he's still in place and we're taking it 1 month at a time as we look at extending or wrapping up that employment.
Okay. And you mentioned about Trevor and Amanda fielding a lot of calls about the new recycling program. Amanda even fielded a complaint from the mayor. Tell her thank you very much.
Okay, well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I need a motion then to accept the moved by Deputy Mayor Salmon, second by Councilor Carmody, that the Public Works monthly activity report be accepted as information. Call for the vote. All in favor? Votes carried. Okay, next we have PW 01-2026, a service agreement between Dual Construction and the town of Petawawa. Chris?
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Service. First off, I wanted to say thanks to Sherwood for coming in tonight to be present for his report. And I hope I do a good job here at Sherwood. All right, so we'll start with some background on this report and we'll go from there. So the Public Works Department, as council is aware, was approached by Mr. Nyman in April of 2025 to facilitate preliminary discussions surrounding the request for tonnage increase. And subsequently, council received correspondence from Dual Construction on June 9, 2025, requesting a tonnage increase from the current limit of 60,000 ton annually to 180,000 ton. Staff report PW 22-2025, which is attached, was presented to council on July 14th, with council rather, directing staff to negotiate a new road improvement maintenance agreement to improve the 1,500 meters of Black Bay Road from the BEI Milky Pit entrance to the entrance of the Nyman Pit. The tonnage increase would be approved based upon acceptance and completion of this agreement. So, myself and Mr. Nyman held meetings in 2025 to discuss various options for a new road maintenance agreement where Do-All Construction will provide certain services to facilitate the upgrade of 1.5 kilometers of Black Bay Road. Those services included removal and repositioning of 911 signage and mailboxes, sweeping of any excess granular off the roadway, shouldering to widen the current road cross section to allow for paved shoulders, traffic control and signage, and packer rental. However, through those negotiations, we encountered some stumbling blocks, which I mentioned in the report. Do-All Construction does not have internal capacity to produce or apply hot mix asphalt to Black Bay Road. So any agreement would be subject to the town hiring a third party through a tender process to complete the paving works. This agreement would be more complex to administer, with 2 construction companies involved and the town providing contract administration. So there would be a level of risk involved there. The paving works would be subject to budget approval, and if the project is deferred, Do-All Construction would not be able to apply for the tonnage increase. Another option that was considered through our meetings was what we brought forward as the recommendation tonight, which is a service agreement. So in those meetings, Do-All Construction offered 4,000 ton granular A material in lieu of providing certain services for a specific road rehabilitation project. So myself, the Director of Planning and Development, and the town clerk held an internal meeting, and after that meeting, we sought legal advice through the support of Wayne Fairbrother, who is familiar with these agreements and has assisted the town before in these road maintenance and service agreements. So the 2 options were presented to Mr. Fairbrother, and he endorsed the supply of 4,000 ton of granular A, and a copy of that proposed service agreement is attached in this report. The granular supply option would be an investment of $90,000. The cost consists of crushing, loading, delivering, and stockpiling 4,000 ton of granular A to a location to be determined by the Public Works Department. This material can be used for any purpose and is not tied to the completion of a specific project. Upon completion of the service agreement, Mr. Nyman can proceed with application for a tonnage increase from the current limit of 60,000 ton to 180,000 ton per year. The Public Works Department will include a budget estimate for the rehabilitation of the remaining 1.5 kilometers of Black Bay Road, and this in-house project can be deliberated in the 2026 budget planning exercise. So I provided the financial implication and the recommendation, but I wanted to acknowledge and thank council for, I did receive a couple of questions today through the CAO, and I do appreciate that. Getting the questions helps. Certainly I can understand where some of the questions were coming from, namely, where does the $90,000 come from, and how is staff acknowledging that that's a fair agreement. So in answering those questions that were posed to me today, first off, I want council to understand that I did not include in my staff report a comparison between the BEI road maintenance agreement that was completed in 2025 and the proposed service agreement with Do-All Construction. And the reason why I didn't do that is because it's not comparing apples to apples. So that's the first thing I was hoping to assist council with. The road maintenance agreement that was completed with BEI was for 3.2 kilometers of roadway. The existing pavement condition was very poor with a PCI rating of 39. So that road was a very tired road. And the applied tonnage increase was from 210,000 to 450,000 ton. So you had a net increase of 210,000 tons. So it was a much bigger tonnage increase. for that agreement. The proposed dual service agreement contained the following metrics: 1.5 kilometers of road. The pavement condition of this section of Black Bay Road is rated at fair, so it does have a better PCI. The road is in its current condition in much better condition. And that's because the road has been worked on in, I believe, 2007 or 2008 as part of a separate road maintenance agreement when Dual Construction first opened the Nyman pit. And also the applied tonnage increased from 60,000 to 180,000 tons. So you have a net increase of 120,000 tons. So that's why I didn't compare those two in the staff report, because it's hard to compare them. You have to take each one of those agreements in and of itself and look at them separately. So that's the first thing I wanted to explain. The next thing is, how did Mr. Nyman and I arrive at $90,000 as an investment? So going back to the staff report that was provided to council in PW 2022-2025, I had in that estimate 185,000. Now that cost is to overlay the existing road, not widen it, no paved shoulders, and no widening of the road lots. Because when we get into the paving of the shoulders or widening of the existing road allowance, those aren't items that were part of the traffic studies. The traffic studies only focus on the condition of the road as it is and the recommendation to improve the road as it is. When we budget for road widening and paved shoulders, that's Public Works working with council, because that was council's wishes were expressed to the staff of Public Works to, when we improve roads west of Highway 17, let's attempt as best we can to provide paved shoulders so that the road is safer for all road users. But when you're looking at arriving at a fair agreement, or a service agreement in this case, which is provided in the staff report, you have to look at improving the road in its existing condition. So the Public Works staff have looked at the condition of Black Bay Road. The road bed was improved in 2007 or 2008 in a previous road agreement that was worked out with Mr. Nyman, where he provided 3,350 ton of granular in that agreement. That gravel was used on the road bed, and the road was paved. And that's why the PCI, or the condition of the road, is so different between what we improved with the DEI agreement versus what we're looking at with the last 1.5 kilometers of road. So staff feel that we can approach this in a different way. We don't need to pulverize the roadway. We don't need to add granular. What we can do is simply tap coat the existing roadway, which provides a bond between the lifts, pave the roadway, and shoulder. So in the negotiations with Mr. Nyman, we used 185,000 as the estimate to work off of for this service agreement. Hence, $90,000 was provided by Mr. Nyman as his proposal to a fair and equitable agreement, which is essentially half of that estimate. So as part of budget deliberations, I certainly will be bringing a budget number forward that includes the road widening and shouldering. But for the purposes of coming up with a fair agreement with the town and Mr. Nyman, it's important to focus on improving the existing road. And those are the numbers that we work off of. So I hope that better explains how we came up with $90,000. And it is based on the estimate of 185,000. I actually have in my estimates, I have 180 on the low end and 190 on the high end. So hence 185,000 was the number that I presented in staff report PW 2022-2025. And I've redone the numbers again and double checked them, and I'm still coming up with the same number. So I'm quite confident that what we've proposed here is a fair agreement. And I think it serves the town well. It provides us with 4,000 ton of granular A material, which is going to be good quality material that we can use for the purpose of the Black Bay Road project. Certainly we can use it for widening the row allowance and then for the required shouldering, which will be a cost savings on the project. And based on the estimates, we should have 2,000 ton of granular area left over for use on maintenance projects or in-house roadworks. So I hope that better explains my report. The recommendation is provided, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Chris, and thanks for all that additional information at the last moment. But I think it's important information, especially when you go back to the 2007 agreement that we already had with Sherwood Nyman. And was it 3,200 tons, you said, that was part of the agreement back in 2007?
3,350. Am I correct? Yeah.
2,300.
Which was part of the agreement for the original paving of that road and upgrading of that road.
That's correct. That was part of the OMB resolution to open the pit and the initial upgrade of that road.
Okay, thanks. I'll open it up to questions from council. Councilor Green.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Thanks, Chris, for bringing this report forward. This tonnage increase has been in the works now for, since what, 2011, true?
Yeah.
15 years, that's a long time. And it certainly sounds like this agreement is a win-win. And thank you for explaining it the way that you have. It makes more sense to me now. Any concerns that I had have been dealt with. And it seems to me that it's a fair agreement for all parties involved. So I will support that.
Any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I like the explanation. Thank you for that. In my simple mind, it was as straightforward as, does the cost of the granular equate to the cost of the paving? And if the answer is yes, then I'm happy with that. Thank you very much.
Further questions or comments? Councilor Griffin.
In my service, I just want to add my thanks for the clarification that you sent me today. I appreciate everything you explained as far as how we can get this done with mutual benefit. So thanks for all your work on this too.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so thanks. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I should mention one more item. It was in my notes and I try to do it ad lib, but I should mention this to council because it is an important point and could have been asked, can the current road in its current form manage the tonnage increase? My answer to that would be yes, it can. The only thing we need to consider, and of course I will bring it as part of budget deliberations, we wouldn't want to accept the tonnage increase and then not rehabilitate the road for a long period of time. We really should look at completing this rehabilitation within the next 2, 8, 3 years. But the road can accommodate the tonnage increase in its current form for a period of time. Okay, I just thought I'd mention that as well.
Now you make a good point, Chris, because as we know, with construction costs, as the years roll on, costs go up.
That's right.
So, like we're at the prime moment here when we enter this deal in terms of the dollar value we're receiving, to get it done as quick as possible so that we're getting the best possible yield in return. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, so I need a motion. It's basically to enter into the agreement with UL Construction due to the request to increase the tonnage from 60,000 to 180,000 tons, and in turn the town will receive $90,000 worth of granular paving material. Now there's a lot more to the motion, I'll read it later, but that's the basic framework of it. So I need a motion. Moved by Councilor Roots, seconded by Deputy Mayor Savard, that council approves entering into the proposed service agreement with Do-All Construction as presented to consent to the requested increase in the annual extraction limit from 60,000 ton to 180,000 ton for the lands covered by ARA license number 624631, subject to Do-All Construction providing 4,000 tons of granular A material to be supplied and delivered to the town at no cost to the town in a location to be determined by the town in its absolute discretion, and that the consent of the town for the increase in the annual extraction limit is contingent upon receiving the 4,000 ton granular hay, and that the service agreement be adopted by bylaw at a future meeting of council. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. The long wait is over.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris, and
Thanks, everybody.
and next we'll go to the economic development report, monthly report for December. Christine.
Mayor and members of council. Yes, this is the report for December. Looking at commercial business registration, Dr. James C. Sagal, optometrist, is relocating to Fort Dorn Road for services, and said business registration was circulated. There was also 2 home-based business circulations, Michelle Zimmerman, physiotherapy, and 6 services consulting, circulated around the departments for review and consent. With regards to the industrial park, we did commission the survey for the proposed sale of lot 17 in the industrial park. And as Melanie had previously indicated, there is a renewed EOI issued by D&D for the Petawawa Industrial Park. So there was some communication and further efforts, which we will discuss later this evening in the session. With regards to the community improvement plan, we were looking at wrapping up some of the projects and making payment as possible, and we are also looking at some requests for CIP tonight as far as other opportunities. We did host the grand opening of the Petawawa storage on December the 3rd. We've had meetings with Royal Homes and ongoing discussions with a proponent, Sam Kay, for retail B on Petawawa. We, as a staff member, lots of support to the Chamber of Commerce. Personally participated again in the pitch for Enterprise Renfrew County Starter Company Review Fall Edition. We had 6 candidates this year, so reviewed those 6 pitches and scored them accordingly and provided mentorship to those entrepreneurs. We were also part of the OVED Partners meetings, which were hosted at Doghouse Brewing Company. As the host location, we also presented a report, very similar to the report that comprises our year-end summary, which we'll quickly review as a wrap-up document for our year-end. Of course, we hosted the holiday tailgate market on December the 6th as part of the Merry and Bright Festival and activities. Over 2,000 people attended the market. We had 23 vendors, and the fundraiser this year was for CPAN through the hot chocolate sales donated by Fallen Union Sweets. The CPAN to the total of $741.30. Of course, we did work on the economic action strategy, which was subsequently presented to council and endorsed. And the final inputs for the BRA for the funding program were completed by the year end to meet the requirement. That's a brief summary of the report and activities for December.
Okay, thanks. Another successful holiday tailgate market. I think, is that the biggest crowd we've had?
It's about the same number as last year.
About the same number? Yeah. Look busier for some reason. Okay, I'll open it up to questions of council. Deputy Mayor Simon.
Just with respect to the tailgate, it seemed like a cold and damp and windy night, and it was so much fun to go around to all the booths. And I don't get out to the vendors as often as I'd like to, and as often as Councillor Coutu does. But I tell you, I found something at every single one that delighted folks that I gave presents to at Christmas. So it was absolutely wonderful. And I just think that, gosh, probably more than 10 years ago when we first had this concept, and wow, look at what it's turned into. So great for our vendors and really great for our community. Thanks.
Further questions or comments on the report? Councilor Couture?
Thank you, Mayor Service. I'll just mention that I can't imagine the Santa Claus parade now without that conclusion, so thank you for everything you do.
I'd just like to make a comment on the SIP program. It's great to see it's thriving and alive and well, and the applications are still coming in. Every time I drive by the Victoria Mall, I notice that there's more and more upgrades to the storefront. It's looking better and better all the time, so it's great to see. Can you tell us any more on retail B? Are we getting close to something happening there? You're not allowed to share it.
We are having ongoing meetings and discussions. We anticipate something to be deposited very soon.
I guess that sounds promising. We look forward to something happening there too. Okay, any other questions or comments? Then I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councilor Couture, seconded by Councilor Carmody, that the Economic Development Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Next, we have the annual report for the 2025 year from Economic Development.
Colin's desperately working to get it up.
Apparently, we're trying to get it up on the screen. It looks like it has it on the small screen.
Oh, I should have saved the last for here, and I think it was on that too.
Since we have it on this screen, then the people on YouTube can see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can put it on the TV screen there, then you can see it there.
It's only on one screen.
Yeah, the TV's just off for some reason. I have other computers.
Shall I go ahead then?
Keep down that, I'll try to get it.
Yeah, as long as the folks at home, as Kate said, have it on their screens and. Yeah, the rest of us can follow on our computers. Okay, let it rip.
Okay, no problem. So as I mentioned, and huge kudos again to Rudy Padler, who is our document genius here, for taking the inputs and creating these presentation documents. And so a version of this was what we did present as part of our OVED partners meeting. So OVED being the economic development group that meets with representatives from the ministries that do choose to participate and our local resources so that they can see what's happening and we can collaborate together on initiatives and opportunities. So we had the opportunity to present a version of this, and we just, for the purposes of providing the year-end report, added some things that are relative specifically to the municipality and the work that the department does. So at a glance, certainly we give some numbers. We did share 10 grant opportunities that local businesses were able to take advantage of. 32 training webinars, services shared, 51 BRE surveys. We sent out 29 e-news posts. We try to send out 2 a month to keep the business community aware of the opportunities and what is available to them. We did host 4 networking events through our Business Connect series, and we did collaborate with Conjugal, and we did 6 in-business video series, thank you, Colin, that were filmed and showcased. Of course, we do have partner collaboration events, including Startup Company Plus program, OVED partner meetings, the County Economic Development Summit, the Algonquin College Fall Business Leadership Conference, the Chamber Awards Gala Summit, and the Enterprise Renfrew County Workshops. I guess you want me to put it on that page there, sorry. Specifically with the CIP, so there was a total of 16 community projects funded for an investment of about $192,000. That's pre-construction estimates. The value of the agreed funding to the tune of $41,128. And we are also able to recover $16,000 of that from the HEIGHT program that the county adopted in 2025. And that will be available to us ongoing as long as the county also continues their HEIGHT program through the year. So this is a nice way as we look to 2026 and look at reviewing our CIP program, because we have now surpassed the 5-year mark, to align better with the values and the requests that the business community are looking to make. So it has been a very good program for us. We are certainly very active in it. It is something that I market on a regular basis and that I speak to the businesses at every opportunity. I feel it is a good opportunity for the community and the engagement and the beautification as a whole of our properties. We also had some milestones that we recognized, including some grand openings. There's some pictures up on the screen. Grand openings of Flightline Petawawa, the new location for Dog House, Barbaritos, Brady's Empire, Flint and Steel, Eva's Cafe, of course I mentioned Petawawa Storage. We celebrated anniversaries for Beyond Nutrition, Prairie and Luna, Century 24 Real Estate, Sales and Service. We opened the Flying Dutchman Barbershop. Not all businesses want to host a elaborate event, but they did open in the community, so we do recognize that. Petawawa Water Depot, Petawawa Nail Salon and Spa, Rising Kind Holistic Health, new owners for Petawawa Kia, Petawawa Pizzeria, Sensation Tanning, and we have a relocation of the mortgage advisors. We did have some business closures, unfortunately, that does happen over the years, but as you can see, more openings than closures, which is always a positive trajectory. We had lots of community impact and participation by Mayor Service and Council at different business opportunities. They are listed here. This doesn't comprise all of them, but it is just a quick review. Looking at Miracle Treat Day, Tim Hortons, the Veteran Banner Program, Women's Day event that we hosted at Ottawa Valley Coffee Petawawa, and very happy to see that Mount Molson won Business Innovation Award this past year at the Algonquin College event. In terms of our media and advertising, we just provided a high-level summary of some of our efforts in that vein, noting that our Petawawa business page is an interactive page with the community, and it is a way to share information and reach the Petawawa business community as a whole. We did have 3 video campaigns. We did a collaboration with the Hotel Directory and supported 9 businesses through an effort in that program. We had 8 Petawawa business-related news stories. We did the film features as we anticipated. One of the things that we did run out of the BRE was the joint marketing and advertising was a highly sought after item from our business community, so that will be part of our efforts moving forward, is to see how we can continue to collaborate more or to share the resources available from our partner organizations. Of course, we completed our BRE. 51 businesses were interviewed. The BRE certainly fed into our economic action strategy. The BRE report was presented to the community and business as a whole, and will impact the efforts of the department moving forward, specifically for the next 3 years under the economic action strategy. It was a big project, but nice to have it completed. This highlights the economic action strategy, so the key areas are to support and retain businesses, attract, grow, and connect. 4 economic development goals and priorities, 23 strategies, and 43 individual actions or tasks under that strategy, endorsed by council, and now the work plan for the next 3 years for the department. We also took a look at branding and wayfinding. So with the results of the branding exercise, we were able to make an application to ROD funding. We are told that maybe at Roma announcements will be made in that vein. So we are very hopeful that a positive announcement will come for us on that way. We are still working internally on this piece, preparing for budget and preparing for the rollout as it relates to the positive outcome of this potential grant program. The next project that we continue to work collaboratively on is the Norman Street project. Design and public tendering consultation went out with regards to the in and out access off Petawawa Boulevard. And Chris did announce that they're ready to come before council just as soon as we complete the land sale portion. The relocation of the ball field started and the parking lot design has been implemented. The next piece will be to design the container market space and the remaining elements so that we all have shovel-ready opportunity for the rest of the space now that the key components for access and usability are there. Council may recall, project started in 2019 and has gone through many evolutions just based on availability, consultation and ebb and flow, and it continues to be an 8-acre redevelopment project in the heart of the community that will be interesting. And of course, the most recent change is the use of the Norman Banking Hall itself, which was just the small daycare service, and now is going to become a full child care service as opposed to a youth center. So it's an ever-evolving project, which is the reality of economic living. We are also working towards the Petawawa Letter Sign project. This was a pilot engineering project specifically close to the P-band heart. It was RFQ'd in 2025. It was awarded to Speedco. The consultant is preparing the letters. They are in preparation, anticipated to arrive next year. We're ready to release the RFQ for the graphics. And please note that those are not the graphics that will be on the side. We will be RFQing for an artist rendition to go up there and go through an evaluation process for that. So all things moving forward in that direction. In relation to the container market, we had 53 unique businesses that used the space in 2025. We had the most number of seasonal retention this year. 51 total market days open. The revenue from the rentals was just over $20,000. The details of some special events are certainly there. We do continue to collaborate with local businesses to do events and programming, hosting 6 free yoga events, 6 free music events. We held 3 book swaps, which were hugely successful. We did 4 thrift markets. We did a quilt panel project during 3 different events in collaboration with the Accessibility Advisory Committee, with the Pride, and then again with the Ramble event. And then we did host 3 community programs. With regards to the Petawawa Industrial Park, we have been very busy over the last many years selling land in the industrial park. What remains is essentially land that does not have access off a municipally maintained road, but it is part of consideration for the EOI and DMV EOI files, which we have previously mentioned. We are desperately in need of moving forward with the search for the next industrial parkland for Petawawa. Petawawa Ramble was a very successful event, as it has been brought to us by a local business community, supported by the business community, and year over year more and more of the businesses participated in it. I won't go through all the details of the numbers, but you can clearly see that the community does embrace various aspects of this particular event. And it is a signature event for the business community as a way of giving back and as a way of encouraging residents from near and far to come and visit the municipality and support our local business community. One of the other joint adventure collaborations for advertising marketing that we did this year, and again, Rudy produced this in-house, was the Petawawa shopping guide. So we had always produced a map associated with the Petawawa Ramble. We expanded it into a little bit of a guide, which gave advertising space a little bit more awareness. And so 14 businesses did participate with us in this first edition of this expanded program. We do host the Veteran Business Expo. It's a really great opportunity to recognize veteran entrepreneurs. It's a small market intentionally to support. Some of the needs that our veteran vendors and entrepreneurs have, but the community does come out in droves. We had over 500 people attend this year, which was our greatest attendance for the Veteran Expo. We did also do a radio collaboration with 104.9 FM, which did draw people to the event, so it was lovely. Looking forward already to this year, where the event will be on Sunday, November the 1st. We do continue to network and learn with the Petawawa Business Advisory Network meetings. We attend conferences and trainings. We attended the Ontario East Municipal Conference. We attended the County of Vancouver Economic Development Summit with representatives of council, and Rudy is taking his EBE certification. And so he will be continuing that education this year. We had the opportunity with a joint team of municipal staff to present to MPP Billy to know some of the key important opportunities for the Economic Development Department as well as the municipality as a whole. And we did host some Business Connect networking activities. And that's a summary of some of the outcomes of the department in 2025.
Thank you, Christine. That is quite the year. A tremendous amount of activity going on. It's hard to believe that just two of you can pull all that off. What's even more hard to believe is that in past years it was just you. Yeah. So it's great to see your two-man team really taking the town of Petawawa to the next level. And we're excited to see what the two of you can bring forward in 2026. Now, yeah, I'll open it up to questions. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I was talking to Christine yesterday and I said, I just finished reading that package and when I look at that, I was even exhausted. There's so much done and such good work. So thank you. And I just want to make that comment and very proud to see all those accomplishments, as I know it's a very big vision that you have. So good work.
Councilor Kern.
Thank you, Mayor Service. I'll echo Councilor Roots' comments. Very productive year, and especially work on the container market, and everything just is so great in that department. It's wonderful to see. And my congratulations to Rudy on another stellar document. And he's quite the word wizard. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Savard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to add, and the work on the VRE, that the businesses are one of the foundations of our community and keeps people here, brings people here, and we're stronger because of it. So thanks for all the work that this two-person team does. Thank you so much.
Councilor Kutcher.
Thank you, Mayor Service. I'll just add, I mean, a lot of what you do really platform people's ideas and give entrepreneurs a place to test market and to really grow into their space. That's not something you find everywhere. So I think that's really made Petawawa super special. And again, the way that you're encouraging different sectors like veterans, etc. I can't thank you enough for your vision and for all the hard work you put in. And it was jarring, I'll mention, when I stopped seeing you at container market every week and Rudy was there, but I've gotten used to it now. So major thanks to Rudy too, because he's really stepped into your role supporting the container market entrepreneurs. So this has been an incredible year and I'm excited for another incredible year. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And I'd also like to add that it's great to see so many new businesses come into town and for future potential developments. But I did notice that I think it was 6 businesses that did close for various reasons. I mean, and I think a lot of them are just retirement or leaving town. But I noticed that of all those businesses that closed, I think most of those buildings are now filled with another new business. So it doesn't take long for the retail and commercial folks out there to snap up the empty property and open a new business. So it's great to see. Okay, if there's nothing else, then I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the Economic Development Annual Report for 2025 be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, now we go to ED 01 2026 Community Improvement Plan for Dorn Street, Dr. James Sable. Christine.
So, as mentioned earlier, Dr. James Segal is relocating the optometrist office to 4 Dorn Road from its existing location, which is now up for sale by the property owner. They were not interested in acquiring said property or retaining the lease during that potential sale process and looked for an opportunity to relocate. So they found 4 Dorn and have since signed the lease for that property. In speaking with them prior to Christmas, they were getting themselves ready and wanted to apply for the CIP program for the signage. So they are looking at a pylon sign as well as a fascia sign for the property, both eligible, both working through the permit process through the building department. It is a first ask for Dr. James Sable under the CIP program, but would be a third ask for this particular property because we council did approve signage for relocation by Laura, which was a conversion from a business relocation by Lisa, and then the upgrades to the legacy homes, the signage at same property. It is eligible within the CIP program, and while we don't have 2026 budgeting numbers, there remains funds within the $90,000 that was allocated under the 2025 CIP program. There's sufficient room, so that the council was willing to support this application as part of the CIP, which does maintain itself and carry forward anyway, that we could go ahead and approve this project. Happy to take any questions.
Questions from members? Okay, seeing no questions, if you're comfortable with it, I need a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sadler, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that council under the Community Improvement Plan adopted by Bylaw 1441/21 enter into a funding agreement with Dr. James Sable, tenant of the commercial property located at 4 Dorn, permitting the CIP financial incentive of up to $5,000 under the signage improvement grant. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And next we have ED-02-2026 Community Improvement Plan, 3482 Petawawa Boulevard to Petawawa Car Wash. Christine.
I'll start off by apologizing for the wrong address error. This is one of the things I want to rectify when we do the CIP review is the application process, because it's the property owner's address that's first listed. The actual address is of the applicant applying for the property is on page 3. So I made an error in my haste to do the report. So the car wash, the Petawawa Car Wash, is owned by the property owner of 3482 Petawawa Boulevard, but the address of the application and where the CIP would be applied is 3519A Petawawa Boulevard. And it is related to a funding request by the tenant of said property in Bonacci, who is currently operating said property, has already done some improvements to the equipment, is actively engaged and on site at the property. One of his asks is for signage, and the second ask under the building facade improvement is for lighting under the fascia of the existing building. The application requirements and requests are well within the means of the CIP program.
It is a first request for both the tenant and for this property, and it is improving an underdeveloped and poorly used piece of property that was an eyesore, quite frankly, within the community. So it's very nice to see that this transitioning veteran owner is taking ownership of this property and improving it, meeting the service needs of our local community. I will say our social media posts related to the fact that it was opening up blew up. It was a very welcome announcement to the community. So again, just for clarification, this is for 3519A Petawawa Boulevard for up to $5,000 permitted under the signage improvement grant and up to $5,000 under the building design improvement grant for the lighting of the property. And I'm taking questions of council.
Okay, thanks, Christine. Yeah, it has been sitting vacant for quite a number of years now, so it's great to see something happening there. There was a time there where we thought it was going to be demolished and something new put up, but regardless, it's great to see something positive happening with that property. Okay, questions or comments from members of council? I have to say, when I first read it, I thought it said Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family. And then I had to look again. I thought, why would he be opening a car wash? I don't know. Okay, if you're comfortable, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Coutu. The council, under the community improvement plan adopted by bylaw 1441/21, enter into a funding agreement with Denny Bonacci, tenant of the commercial property located at 3519A Petawawa Boulevard, permitting the CIP financial incentive of up to $5,000 under the signage improvement grant and up to $5,000 under the building facade improvement grant. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thanks a lot, Christine. Okay, next we go to Legislative Services, LEG-02-2026, appointment of signing officers for the corporation of the town of Petawawa. Done.
Thank you. I think this might be the third time we've done this report this year. So we need to update our signing officers due to the hiring of our new Director of Finance Treasurer, Megan O'Quinn. So we are recommending that council appoint Mayor Service, Deputy Mayor Sovereign, Colin Howard, CAO, Megan O'Quinn, Director of Finance Treasurer, and Paula Turcott, Deputy Treasurer, as signing officers for the corporation.
Questions on the report? Okay, everybody's good then, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Coutu. Seconded by Councillor Driscoll. The council appoints Gary Service Mayor, Teresa Sabrin Deputy Mayor, Colin Howard, CAO/Deputy Clerk, Megan O'Quinn, Director of Finance/Treasurer, and Paula Turcott, Deputy Treasurer, as signing officers for the corporation of the town of Petawawa. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, now nothing for general matters, but there is a closed meeting, so I need a motion to go into closed. Moved by Councillor Coutu, seconded by Councillor Roots, that the meeting be closed pursuant to section 239, paragraph 2, paragraph C of the Municipal Act 2001 S.O.2001 C.25 as amended to discuss a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board regarding the DND EOI file number 0335-X110, and that the meeting be closed pursuant to section 239, paragraph 2, paragraph B of the Municipal Act 2001 S.O.2001 C.25 as amended to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, to review an appointment to fill a vacancy on the Petawawa Seniors Advisory Committee. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, welcome back. We just returned from a closed session, and we do have some business arising from that closed session. So during that closed meeting, council reviewed D&D EOI file number 0335-X110, and we also reviewed an appointment to fill a vacancy in the Petawawa Seniors Advisory Committee. So we will now vote on the following motions in open session. The first motion is the council approves the issuance of a conditional support letter for town-owned lands in the industrial park under the terms to sell said land to the selected proponent of EOI issued by D&D file number 0335-X110. This letter will allow interested submitters to proceed with their submissions to said EOI while safeguarding municipal interests. I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Driscoll. Did I have to read anything? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And the next motion is to appoint an individual to the Seniors Advisory Committee. I need a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sanders, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that council appoints Jackie Royal to the Petawawa Seniors Advisory Committee for the remaining term concurrent with council. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Now I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Driscoll, that the meeting be adjourned. Follow the mayor. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. We're adjourned.